So, good afternoon, everybody. How are you? Good afternoon, guys. So, shall we begin? I can see there are two people present. Happy noon, happy noon. Okay, so we'll start. Are you guys ready? So, let us begin. Come on, guys. Let us make this interactive so that it is good for both of us. Because only when there is exchange, only when there is exchange of words, there will be exchange of knowledge, right? So, okay, so let us start. Okay, all right. So general knowledge. Okay, so the topic for this session is going to be general knowledge, keeping PGCET in mind. Okay, so before I begin, I would like to, I would like to find out, like, what do you think of general knowledge? What is general knowledge? What does GK mean? The section GK, okay, exam wise. What does the section GK mean to you? Is it something that you find very easy? Is it something that you dread? Is it just, you don't feel any? So when I say so let's talk general knowledge or let's discuss, how do you feel? Does it make you uncomfortable? Do you like to uh, participate in where you have to use your general knowledge? Yeah, never ending syllabus, of course, that is true. What else comes to your mind? Never ending syllabus, that is actually very true. There is no you cannot put a limit to the syllabus of general knowledge. Facing here, unpredictable questions. Yeah, why are the questions unpredictable? Because the syllabus is never ending. Am I audible now? See, So let us make good use of that. All right. How about now? Okay, is the voice clear now? Can you hear me now? Most, general knowledge is a section where people have lot of contracting views. Some for their points on general knowledge, depending upon your knowledge, like depending upon your knowledge, strength, and your skill set and everything. Okay, so in the agenda today, so we have the following topics in the agenda today. So first is about PGCET general knowledge. So we will talk a little about how general knowledge plays an what is the importance and I mean based on the information that show you can call whether you have to go for it or you can skip focus on little only. All right. So many a times in lot of exams, it happens that you have to take a call between whether you really want to take up this GK as a section or whether you want to skip it. Okay, so we'll come to that later. Next is pros and cons of GK section. So if you decide, if at all you decide to take that, if you at all you decide to study GK, if at all you decide to take up, decide to attempt the general knowledge section, okay, then what are the few things? What are the few things that you can take advantage of? Those are the things we will study in this. So pros and cons basically means advantages and disadvantages. In depth, we will see how general knowledge section is designed and how can it add to our marks, or how can it how can it be a blessing to our marks, or how can it be a threat to our marks also. Okay, so we'll see all those things in this section. All right, so next is GK topics for PGCET. So since this lecture is about PGCET exam, so we will explore in detail what are the GK, what are the general knowledge or the general awareness topics that are asked for in the PGCET exam. Okay, so how is the PGCET exam general knowledge section designed? What are the kind of questions that are asked? What is the kind of preparation that needs to go into for PGCET? All those things will be discussed, and all those things will be shared with you. All right. So can we move ahead? You guys ready? Now I'm asking this. I just want to see how much delay is there between the between me. Can we continue? All right, thank you so much. Okay, so I have got my answer. So yeah, so these are the things that we will be discussing in the agenda today. So about PGCET general knowledge, why should we study general knowledge, pros and cons of the GK section, and the topics for PGCET. Oh yeah, and one more thing, approach to general knowledge. So this is something that I have prepared. I intend to share with you guys. So how? So one more thing, like one of you pointed out, right, general knowledge is infinite. So how do you prepare for something that is infinite? How do you make sure that you are ready, and you are ready to answer those infinite questions, you are ready to answer those unpredictable questions, right? One of you said it is very infinite, it is highly unpredictable. So how can you be ready for that? So I have actually made a plan which would help you, okay, which would help you prepare for GK better. Okay, so if you can consider this, and it is up to you to decide whether you can take it up or not. All right, so we will be discussing that also. So about PGCET general knowledge. Okay, now about PGCET general knowledge section usually comprises 25% of the paper. Okay, so if you see, there are 4 sections in the PGCET exam. All right, there are 4 sections in the PGCET exam. So one is the your quantitative ability, where your calculative skills, your uh, numerical analysis, and all those things are checked. Okay, so that is what is called your quant section. I think you had a class about that today. Okay, so the next section that you have is the verbal section, where your vocabulary, grammar, word pronunciations, your your strength of the language, like your antonyms, synonyms, all those things, idioms and phrases, all those things are asked. So that comes under verbal reasoning. Next is logical. So this logical section. So in the logical section, your brain's capabilities are checked. How good are you and so on. So all this thing is always you will have to solve them one by one, right? So this is actually a very common this thing, logical section. You will find it in most exams. Okay, so next is a GK, general knowledge section. So general knowledge section is, again, it is for a 25% weightage. Okay, so I guess 30 out of 120 marks is there for general knowledge. Okay, so it is very important. Okay, so it is not like it is not the most important, but it is pretty important, and it does help you to gain an edge. How does it help you to gain an edge? This is something we will again explore in this class. Okay, so next is important for non-technical courses. Yeah, so your general knowledge is very important when it comes to non-technical courses. So if you are giving an MBA exam, okay, not just PGCET. Okay, I'm not just talking about PGCET here. Even if you're giving, so CAT does not take general knowledge. So far, CAT doesn't have general knowledge. But other exams, like your symbiosis exams, which is known as SNAP, and other related MBA exams, okay, those exams have a section called the general awareness section, which is nothing but your general knowledge. Okay, again, the questions that appear over there are of a different difficulty level altogether. But similarly, like those exams, even PGCET, Karnataka PGCET has a for non-technical courses has a GK section, which is, like I said, 25% of the marks. All right. Now, when it comes to PGCET in particularly, the questions that are there in PGCET are very easy to moderately difficult questions. Okay. Now, I say easy to moderately difficult questions because I have seen a lot of papers. All right. So so first of all, if you notice, if you have seen a PGCET paper, the answering form is MCQ. Okay, that is, I think, that is in fact a very easy form of answering. Yes, it has its own advantages and disadvantages, which we cannot argue, but MCQ is relatively easy. So as compared to the toughest exams, okay. So your toughest exams where your knowledge is tested is your UPSC exams. If you might have heard, okay, government exams, your UPSC exam, okay, that is where your answers. That is where your answers are evaluated. Okay, so you have to write answers, and how do you write answers? You write answers only when you have that knowledge to write those answers. Correct. So these are very difficult. These are considered to be very difficult papers. As compared to that, PGCET is very easy. You just have to tick the right answer. There is one more thing that makes PGCET very easy is that there is no negative marking also. All right. So if you check a few other exams, okay, for few other competitive exams, there is negative marking also. So for every right answer, you do get points. But if you give a wrong answer, also your points go down. Okay. So whereas in PGCET, this is not the case. You are very free. You can directly apply to as many questions as you want. So easy to that's why it is easy to moderately difficult. So when does it become moderately difficult? When the questions asked themselves are difficult. Okay, so if some niche question or if some deep question about some topic is asked, then in that case it becomes a moderately difficult question paper. All right. Otherwise, usually it is pretty easy. And if you prepare very well, okay, if you prepare well in advance, if you prepare very well, if your general knowledge is good, then trust me, guys, it becomes even easier. Okay, so PGCET, I would recommend all of you to please try the PGCET GK section. Okay, one, because it is there is no negative marking. Okay, you guys can give right answers. You guys can give wrong answers also. Okay, your marks won't be cut. But but I would recommend you to prepare well, because GK is one of the easiest sections, where one of those sections where you can easily score marks over people who are brighter. I mean, who are relatively brighter or who are relatively good at academics than you. Okay, so general knowledge gives you the edge over there. All right. Next, question focus on basic knowledge and information. Yeah, so most of the PGCET questions, they are not so in deep. Okay, so niche topics. Okay, what we call as very niche. Okay, so these PGCET topics, they are not so niche. Okay, they are pretty much on the scratching the surface level of the topic only. Okay, so something like, how many seats are there in Lok Sabha 545? How many seats can be? So a deeper question in this topic would be, okay, so first question is, how many seats are there in Lok Sabha 545? Okay, so this becomes a very basic question. Okay, now if I go deeper, so out of the 545 seats that are there in Lok Sabha, how many of them have been nominated by president? Okay, so 12. How many of them are reserved for women? How many of them are there? So this goes on going deeper. Okay, so this is, so in PGCET, you don't get so deep questions. Okay, basically whatever questions you get, they are all on the surface level only. All right. So they focus on your basic knowledge and information. Okay, so that you don't have to go deep studying topics. Now, next is, why should I study? Why should we study general knowledge? Okay, so what is the advantage of studying general knowledge? Okay, so let us see. It is a common section in most entrance exams. All right, so it is like, it has become like taking a CV to an interview. Okay, without a CV, you can't give an interview. You don't feel like you're giving an interview if there is no CV. Nowadays, a lot of companies take soft copies of CVs, right? But even, sometimes we feel that, oh, we haven't given anything, we haven't done anything. So that is what it is very common now. So similarly, like that, general knowledge is very common in most entrance exams. Okay, so there is a section where it might not be as important as it is in PGCET, but there is always a section where few general knowledge questions are asked. Okay, and not just entrance exams, even if you go to some company specific tests. Okay, there are few companies who like to look at what is your general level of awareness before they take you in as an employee. Okay, so they will not ask you these questions in the interview. Okay, unless they get a doubt, but these questions will usually be asked in a test, in an aptitude test, or in a written test conducted by them. Okay, so if 50 aptitude questions will be there, there will be around 20-30 questions on general knowledge. Okay, just to check how well aware you are. Okay, so that is there. Next is, has long term benefits compared to other sections. Okay, now what do I mean by long term benefits? Okay, now every exam, if you see, okay, every competitive exam that you prepare, not just competitive, even for company specific test you prepare, there is a syllabus. All right, now this syllabus is usually for aptitude, verbal aptitude, for logical reasoning, and for quantitative. Okay, let's talk in terms of PGCET only. So this syllabus is usually in terms of verbal aptitude, quantitative aptitude, and logical reasoning. So there must be 10 topics which are coming for exam A. There will be 15 topics which are coming for exam B. There will be some other topics which are coming for C, D, E. Okay, and the level of difficulty varies. Okay, so again, some exams are very difficult. So if you're studying, even if you're studying the same topics, okay. So to give you an example, studying, let's say studying quantitative, okay, studying percentages for PGCET is much different than studying percentage for CAT level exam. Okay, the CAT level exam is much more difficult. Okay, whereas PGCET is simple. So even if you have the basics, okay, even if you have the basics, you can crack you might be able to crack the PGCET exam. But for CAT level exams, you need to not just have the basics, you need to be, all these things are there. Whereas this is all about aptitude. Okay, But whereas in general knowledge, the general knowledge is almost the same. Okay, you cannot different difficult. You cannot put this thing on the GK section. Okay, so if you have studied, if you have studied GK one exam, more or less you can okay again. Okay, so and not just for exams. Okay, even in long term. Okay, it's not just the exam. Even for polite conversation. Okay, many a times what happens is, so I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something from personal experience. Okay, now there are a lot of things that I don't know. Okay, I don't even have knowledge about. Okay, but what happens is many a times when my friends all these training and what all the exams that I have seen, I answers to research, okay, to find out what is it, why is it not. I mean, one who know me very well, I come across as a knowledgeable person. So they are hesitant about, they give me a call and ask me whether I know about this or not. Many a times I know it. There are many a times when I don't know also. But the fact that it comes, so that says a lot about that is how general knowledge has helped me become that person, right? So it has helped me become that person who can help others, who can develop his own network. So your understanding. So it's not just about acing competitive exams. Okay, general knowledge does not just help you with acing competitive exams. It creates an impact in you as a person also. It changes you in a very radical way. All right, it changes your lifestyle from becoming a some a ott Netflix or a Prime watcher. You become a very aware and knowledgeable person, right? So that is how general knowledge has lot of long term benefits for you. Okay. All right, so is the voice correct? I am not sure. There is some technical issue which even I haven't been able to figure out as yet. Okay, so I am so sorry if I mean, the voice is breaking. I mean, this has never happened with me before also. So very new to me. I'm so sorry. Is it clear? Guys, please respond. Otherwise, how will I know? Okay. Right. Let me see what I can do. So Are you able to hear me now, or is the voice still breaking? How about now? Is the voice clear? Is the voice clear? Better? Okay, fine then. Let us continue. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, so it has long-term benefits as compared to other sections. So it gives competitive edge over experts in other section. Now, this is something you must have come across. Okay, if you have not come across, you will come across very soon. So there are few people who are very good at one section, or who are very good at very good at particular sections only. Okay, so I had a friend who was very good with vocabulary. So whenever we used to give our practice tests, okay, so he used to always be better. He used to get better in verbal section. Okay, that is why his overall score used to be good. All right. So similarly, if you can practice GK, okay. Now, usually, if you can practice GK, you don't need to be academically brilliant to be aware. Okay. If you can practice GK over time, if you can, develop your awareness over time, you will definitely get the competitive edge over those people who are experts in other section. Okay. So there are experts in aptitude. There are experts in logical reasoning. Okay, so you might not be able to be as good as them, but if you can always focus elsewhere, right? If you become good at GK, if you develop your general knowledge, or if you improve your awareness, you can definitely become as good as them. You can utilize their advantage. Understanding? After all, this is a competitive exam. Competitive is the first word, then it is an exam, right? So you neutralize their exam, you can utilize their score by gaining a competitive advantage in some other section. Okay, for like GK section. Okay, now what is the last thing? It improves your awareness as an individual. Now I'll tell you something. Okay, general knowledge basically, it changes you as a person. All right, because it is not just a syllabus that you're preparing for. Like many of you pointed out, right? It is not just a there is no syllabus for general knowledge. It is pretty infinite. Okay, the questions are highly unpredictable. Okay, so that is why how can you tackle something that is infinite? How can you tackle something that is heavily unpredictable? So this is the answer. All right, you cannot tackle it overnight, but you can tackle it over time. Okay, so you have to, if you want to improve your general knowledge, you have to practice over time. Okay, not overnight. All right, this is not like your VTU exam or your university exams where you sit on the previous night and you complete 5 units by the morning. No, this doesn't happen that way. It is very difficult because, like I said, the syllabus is pretty vast. The questions are highly unpredictable. Okay, so you cannot build your general awareness, in a night or in a small period. You will always need time. Okay, so if you are doing something over time, this will definitely change your lifestyle. Okay, anything that you do over time. Okay, so if I go for a walk every day, I will, or if I go for a run every day, over time I will definitely become a fit person. Okay, my lifestyle will definitely change. I will be more fitness conscious because I have done it for a long time. Similarly, if you study GK for a long time, if you study general knowledge for a long time, over time you will definitely become well aware. Okay, you will become highly knowledgeable. All right, and your awareness will definitely improve. So this is not something that is going to happen for one exam. This is something that is a very long term, that is going to take a long time to develop and will have a long term effect on you. Okay, Now, pros and cons of the GK section. Now, coming from cricket to competitive cricket. Now, coming from general knowledge to general knowledge in exam. Okay. Now, if I think from an exam point of view, what does the GK section help me? What does the general knowledge section provide me with? What are the advantages that I have? What are the disadvantages that I have if I attempt a GK section? Okay. So, let's start with advantages first. All right. So in advantages, the first thing I have are easy marks. Okay. Now GK, if I know the answer, this is very easy. This is easy marks for me. Okay. Now if you compare this to a percentage problem, okay. So somebody asks a percentage problem. Okay. So X bought a mango for 10 rupees and he sold it at 8 rupees. And what is the loss percentage? Okay. Just giving you an example. Okay. Mr. X bought a mango at 10 rupees and sold it for 8 rupees. What is the loss percentage? So even to find the answer, this is a very easy question. Even to find the answer to such a small question, you have to scratch your head at least for a few seconds. Okay, 10 rupees is the cost price, so 8 rupees is the selling price, 2 rupees is the loss, so yeah, 20%. It takes time, right? Whereas the general knowledge easy questions are pretty easy. Who is the India? Narendra Modi. You either know it, you or you don't know it. Okay, there is no such thing as scratching your head and waiting to calculate anything. No. So if you know it, it is very easy marks. Okay, if you don't know it, I mean, it is a loss. All right. So if you that is what if you have prepared, then the advantages these are the easiest marks for you. Okay. Next is guesses work better. Now I'll tell you. I will tell you how the guessing thing works. Okay. Now let so if I give you an example, okay, if I give you an example of which is the upper house in the parliament, all right, so which is the upper house in the parliament? Does any one of you know? Upper house of the parliament. Upper house of the parliament. Anybody? At least Google, no? At least Google. Which is the okay? Finally, somebody said it. Rajya Sabha. All right. So Rajya Sabha is the upper house of the parliament. Now let's just say this question comes in the exam. All right. Let's just say this question comes in the exam, which is the upper house of the parliament. Okay. So you have four options. Okay. One is Lok Sabha, one is Rajya Sabha, one is some Rashtrapati Bhavan, and just for the sake of completing the question, the fourth one, let it be Vidyarthi Bhavan. Okay. Now, imagine yourself in a place where you know the answer. Okay, so imagine yourself to be in a place where you don't know the answer. So you have four options, which is the upper house of the parliament is asked: Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Rashtrapati Bhavan, Vidyarthi Bhavan. Okay, now you know, if you are from, okay, if even if you're not from Bangalore, okay, you know Vidyarthi Bhavan cannot be the answer. Okay, uh, if let's assume you're from Bangalore also, you know Vidyarthi Bhavan is not an answer. Okay, so Vidyarthi Bhavan goes out. All right. Now, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Let's say you have a confusion between two options, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. All right. Now they have asked upper house. Okay. So upper house. So that means there will be a lower house also. Correct. There will be a lower house also. So if it is Lok Sabha and if it is Rajya Sabha, Lok means what? People. Right. Rajya Sabha means what? Raj means royalty or something like this. So it is better to guess Rajya Sabha as the upper house. Okay. Rajya Sabha becomes the upper house. Okay, so this is one way of how guessing works. Okay, so I am not saying that every time you will find answers like this only. No, this is not the thumb rule for guessing. No, but what happens in GK is that your options are sometimes so designed that even if you know something related to the subject, okay, even if you know something related to subject, you mark it. It could be correct at least 5 out of 10 times. All right. Which of this is a politician? If I give you an option, so I give which of okay. Let's take another question. For example, out of these, who is a politician? Okay, Amitabh Bachchan, Rahul Gandhi, your let's say and fourth one is your uh, Rajdeep Sardesai. Okay. Now, usually, what will happen is you will have a doubt. You know, Amitabh Bachchan is not a politician. Okay. You might know Amitabh Bachchan is not a politician. You might know Shah Rukh Khan is not a politician, but you don't know these two people, right? You might let's say you have a confusion between Rahul Gandhi and Rajdeep Sardesai. Okay. Now, Rajdeep Sardesai is somebody who comes in news TV channels. All right, he is a news reporter. Okay, if you have seen, even if you remember vaguely of a news channel, or if you know that he belongs to the media world, that is enough. You can guess Rahul Gandhi. You don't need to know that Rahul Gandhi is a politician only. Okay, so so that is what I'm trying to say. Guesses work better in the general knowledge section. All right. So even if whereas in the aptitude or any other section, your guesses might not work so well. Okay, your answers may. I mean, there is no way to find out whether you might have given a right answer or wrong answer, right? So guesses work better in general knowledge. So next question: no separate preparation for general knowledge is necessary for different exams. Okay, so you can actually, if you have a very organized way of studying, then you don't need to prepare separately for separate exams for general knowledge. Okay, you can build on the same knowledge every day. Okay, you can, if you have the topics that you need, you can start from the beginning, and you can, it is like a continuous construction work that you do. For every exam, you can build on the same knowledge, and you can develop your GK skills like that. Okay, you don't need to separately prepare. Okay, so this is a different exam, so I will take a different book and all. No, that is not necessary. GK usually comprises of the same topics. And even if it is a tougher exam, okay, let's say if it is a tougher exam like UPSC and all, you have to start from your basic GK only. Okay, you cannot skip to a different this thing or all. Basics will always be the same. So that is how it is. Okay, and it could play a huge role in increasing your marks. Okay, so if GK is your strength, if general knowledge is your strength, if you are well aware, then it plays a very important role and very significant role in increasing your marks. Okay, it gives a huge boost. So the year the year I wrote PGCET, I had one of my friends, okay, who scored much better than I did. Okay, so he did not have he did not he did not have, like, we used to study together. Okay, so he did not have something unique. Okay, except for the general knowledge, he did not have anything unique with his style of studying. Okay, our aptitude marks, our verbal marks were almost the same. In fact, I was leading in I used to lead in the practice test. Okay, but where he scored, where he gained the advantage was general knowledge. Okay, his general knowledge was very sharp because he was preparing for government exams also simultaneously. Okay, so that is where his GK section, that is where his government exam knowledge came into prominence, and he scored very good above me. So that is what I'm giving you an example. So you can always develop on your general knowledge. It is a very good section. It is a very useful this thing. Okay, so coming to the disadvantages, so it is very difficult to prepare, like one of you started. Okay, so if you are doing this at the last minute, my suggestion is forget it. Okay, don't go for general knowledge at the last minute, because at the last minute it is very difficult for you to uh, to grasp so much knowledge. Okay, what happens is most of the times when you see things, okay, you don't tend to absorb it because you don't know what you are actually looking at. Okay, now this might sound a little difficult to you. I will explain it to you in the next section. All right. It becomes very difficult to prepare for a general knowledge paper at the last minute. Okay, trust me. uh, One thing is because you don't know the basics. Okay, so even if you advanced questions are asked to you, you will not understand the question in the first place, and hence you will not be able to answer. So one, that is why it is difficult to prepare. Second thing is syllabus is infinite. Okay, just because the topics are given to you, just because the directive is given to you, you have been given, it carries, you have been told that it carries 25% of the weightage, yet you will not be able to ace it so well. Why? Because the syllabus is infinite. They will not tell you where the questions will come from, they will not tell you what kind of questions they will ask. One hope here is that you refer to the previous year question papers, where you can, if you have those previous year question papers, okay, if you have the question papers of 19, 18, 17, 16, so you see those sections, you will come, you will try to find out a pattern. Okay, this is a pattern. Okay, so every year a currency of a country has been asked, so every year this thing has been asked. So for 1 mark you will have to make sure that you know all the currencies. So again, you are seeing how much work you are putting in just for that 1 mark. Okay, so that is why syllabus is infinite. It is very difficult to prepare. Okay, last minute preparation usually does not work here, as it involves preparation over time. Okay, so you have to be consistently working on your general awareness. You have to be consistently developing your knowledge. You have to be consistently absorbing content from different places. Okay, so that is why I said it is not just a simple change that you make to your routine every day. It is a lifestyle change. Okay, so now GK topics for PGCET. Okay, so quickly we'll go through the topics that are there for PGCET. Okay, so one is Indian business environment. All right, so this is usually to do with business related stuff. Okay, now Indian business environment, like ease of business ranking. Okay, you remember recently India had come to around 100 in ease of business index. Okay, uh, Indian business. Then again, other things that they take into consideration is mergers, acquisitions. Okay, public sector and private sector is a very important part of Indian business environment. So you have to make sure that you know those. All right. Next is global business environment. Now, global business environment means international business. International business. So, if you're talking about international business, you will have to know things like what is liberalization. Okay, liberalization. Just to give you an example. Okay, liberalization basically means your ability to. Liberalization basically means the ease of doing business in a country. Okay, now if you, ease of doing business means not just setting up a company and all these things, not that, but the rules and regulations, the ease from the government side. Okay, so just to give you an example, if you look at oil rich countries, okay, so if you look at oil rich countries like the Gulf countries, it is very difficult to set up a business over there without local backing. Okay, so that is so wherever at least until certain, I am not sure about now, but until a few years this was the rule. Unless and until you have a local partner, you cannot set up a business. Okay, so this is one policy that could create a hindrance for your company if you wish to, go. So those kind of rules vary from country to country. They vary from yeah, they vary from country to country. Every country has different restrictions. Okay, so even in US, you see those H1B visa issues, and all those things are, come under business issues only. All right, so you have to make sure that you know about those things. So next are the social and cultural events. Okay, so social and cultural events, like you should know, like, if you, to give you an example, you must have heard of Kumbh Mela, right? Kumbh Mela that happens in North India. Okay, so that Kumbh Mela is there. Then there is a Kala Ghoda fair that happens in Maharashtra, Mumbai. Okay, every year. So all these things depict the culture of the place. They are they are very important, very culturally. Okay, so socio-cultural events involves taking knowledge of those. Economics, again, economics is different from politics. It is different from business. Economics involves factors like your repo rate, your inflation, your GDP. Okay, all those things come under economics. Okay, it is a very vast subject if you go to study, and it is a very interesting subject also. All right, it's not just boring. If you remember, Amartya Sen is one such personality from India who has got Nobel Prize for economics. Okay, so economics is a very important part of the syllabus. So next is science and technology. So science and technology involves everything: your physics, chemistry, biology. Apart from that, you should know about the inventors and their inventions also. Like Alexander Thomas Edison invented the bulb. This is very simple. Okay, Thomas Edison invented the bulb. Alexander Graham Bell invented the telephone. All right. So all those things you have to know. So these come under science and technology. All right. Next are the political events. Now, the political events which change the government, which change the landscape of which change the political scenario of the country. So those are also very important. Okay, you have to know about them. In India, the political events, okay, they are something like the emergency. Okay, that was imposed during Indira Gandhi's time. Okay, like the demonetization that was imposed during Narendra Modi's time in 2016. Okay, so these are some very important political events. Or if I talk about international political events, then there was this apartheid movement that was in South Africa, that was in America. There was a civil rights movement in America, okay, which was very Martin Luther King is a very important personality from there. Malcolm X is there. So all those things you have to be aware. Okay, you have to know like who is what. All right, next is historical events. Okay, history being my favorite, you have to know historical events. So history is basically divided into three ages. One is an ancient age where your which goes into the BCs and all, where your dynasties and all come into picture. Okay, one is your medieval age, where your Delhi Sultanate, your Mughal Empire, everything comes, and one is your modern history. Modern history is where which is of a very recent time after the British occupied India, right? So the Indians, the struggle, the freedom struggle under the British rule, all those things come under the modern history. All right. Now current affairs. Now coming to current affairs, this is more information based. Okay, so you should know who is at what. So this involves knowing ministers and their portfolios. Okay, the ministries that are there. The recent committees formed, the recent panels formed. Okay, so all these things come under current affairs. Sports is also a very important part, and trust me guys, cricket is not the only sport that we are good at. Okay, apart from cricket, there is football, there is volleyball, there is hockey, there is kho, there is kabaddi. Okay, which we play at an international level. Okay, so yes, cricket we play at an important at an international level. So when it comes to cricket, since we all understand cricket very well, cricket, one of the prestigious awards of cricket is ICC Player of the Year award. Okay, one of the prestigious awards from government side is Khel Ratna award. Okay, Arjuna award. So these are the awards for sports. Similarly, sports and awards. So awards are not just for sports; they are for gallantry. They are for public service also. They are for gallantry. This thing also. They are for gallantry awards also. You know, if I give you an example, okay, gallantry awards like Paramveer Chakra, Veer Chakra, all those things are gallantry awards that are given for bravery, right? These usually go to the people of the Indian Army. Okay, next is the personalities and achievements. So this is just an opposite of what the awards are. If you know what the awards are, if you know their recipients, then you should be able to answer the question in the reverse order also. Okay, here they will ask you about the recipients first. Okay, so who is uh, which award has Pulela Gopichan won? Okay, Dronacharya award. Okay, Dronacharya award is for the best teacher. So which award has Amartya Sen won? Okay, it is the Nobel Prize for economics. Which award has Rabindranath Tagore won? It is Nobel for literature. So all those things you have to know, which in Karnataka, I think Jnanapita awards are very prestigious. So these are some of the topics that this is how you prepare. Now approach to GK. Okay, now approach to general knowledge. All right, now whenever you approach a topic, anything, be it anything, there are three stages. Okay, one is a basic stage, one is an advanced stage, and one is an expert stage. Okay, so you start from the basic stage. Okay, you start from the basic stage. You go to the advanced stage, and then you become an expert. Okay, so you are dedicated enough for the this thing. All right. So you have to make sure that now again, this is very easy for me to tell you. Okay, this is very easy for me to tell you, but it is very difficult to implement. All right, it is very difficult to implement because time is very critical. Okay, for every exam, you yourself know how much time you have to prepare. Therefore, it becomes very difficult for you to prepare for prepare for the exam this way. Okay, but I am thinking of a long term approach for general knowledge. Okay, a very long term approach which will not just help you to crack exams this year, which will help you to crack any exams which has general knowledge in the subsequent years of your life. Okay, so if you want to develop that kind of a skill set, if you want to develop that kind of a strength for general knowledge, then this is one approach which you can follow. So one is a basic stage, one is the advanced stage, and one is an expert stage for any topic that you take. Okay, so here are the topics mentioned. You can start from basic, advanced, and expert. Okay, now basic stage. Now, what happens in the basic stage? All right, in the basic stage, you start building your foundation. Now, what happens is usually if you go start reading books and all, no, you might probably not understand because the terms that they are used, okay, the terms that they are used are for those people who already have prior knowledge. But since you don't have prior knowledge, you have come on recommendation. Okay, I mean somebody has referred you the book, and you have bought it. Okay, there is limited time, more work, so you are trying to mug up information. That will never work, and I'll tell you why it will not work. Because there is a lot of thing to remember. Okay, so definitely you don't know, so that is why you have to focus on understanding the names, places, and events first. Don't focus on understanding the complete sentence, just focus on the names that are mentioned, the places that are mentioned, and the events that are mentioned. Okay, then go and search those events more. Okay, search those events, do some primary research, do some primary research on those names, on those places, on those events. Okay, that way what happens is next time whenever that name comes, next time whenever that place comes or that event is mentioned, you will definitely remember. Okay, you will definitely remember. You will have one, or you will have one less thing to remember. Okay, so that is, see, if to give you a very basic example, if I tell you the marks of all your classmates on the first day of your school, on the first day of your college, will you be able to remember? No, right? You won't be able to remember the marks of all your classmates on the first day because you don't know your classmates themselves. But if I give you the marks of all your classmates after the first semester, you might probably remember most of them because you know them. Okay, so once you know them, it becomes very easy in your mind, okay, to place their marks. Okay, so person A, yeah, I know him. A what 36? Oh my god. B got what 46? Oh my god, what an achievement. So definitely you will create some kind of link in your mind. So always, instead of going full on any GK book that you get, on the first GK book that you place hands on, I would recommend you to please, focus on developing your basics first. So once your foundation is properly developed, then you can create a building on it. Okay, so focus. So even if you don't understand what is mentioned, that is okay. Okay, you have to make an attempt to understand what exactly is mentioned. All right, so for that you need to develop more context. So basic stage is all about developing context. All right, so focus. So like I said here, okay, so focus more on knowledge as compared to information. Okay, don't focus on, so if I give you I say something like Virat Kohli has become the ICC Player of the Year for cricket. Okay, so first focus on Virat Kohli. Who is he? Focus on cricket. What is it? Okay, I'm just giving you an example. I know you know a lot of things, but I'm just giving you an example, a very simple example. Focus on what is cricket, then focus on what is an ICC award. Okay, what is, how prestigious it is? Is it a real award? Does it really carry some significance, or is it just something that is given as a token of appreciation? So focus on that. Okay, so once you focus on that, then definitely every year you will remember who got the ICC award. So, for example, now we know who won the World Cup, right? For people who are following cricket, you will always know who won the World Cup. India won the World Cup in 2011, you know, because 2011 I was here, I was there. So there are a lot of things which help you remember that information. So always focus on building a premise like that. So Google is a very good place to start. Okay, so if you start by doing Google searches, you can you can develop those, that basic this thing that you have. Okay, so next are the expert stage and the advanced stage. Okay, so I am running short of time. Okay, so advanced stage is the next stage, that comes after the basic stage. Okay, it builds on getting it focuses on gaining through understanding of current scenarios. So it is building on the knowledge you acquired in the basic stage. And then there is an expert stage. Okay, there is an expert stage where you become, where you have given a lot of time and you have dedicated a lot of this thing towards that subject. Okay, so you become highly expert in that. So this is the expert stage. All right, so if I get time, I can explain this to you tomorrow also. I guess tomorrow also you have a session. Do you have a session tomorrow also for GK? Guys, please. So, yeah, so I will probably be taking the section tomorrow. So for tomorrow, I will start explaining from the basic stage, advanced stage, and the expert stage. Okay, so for tomorrow, we will understand how the basic approach, how the advanced approach, and how an expert approach works, and how can we apply this to all these topics that have been mentioned over here. Okay, so we will go topic by topic, and I will tell you how you can develop your knowledge base, and how you can become better at each of these topics. All right, so I would just like to conclude by saying, don't neglect general knowledge. Okay, but if you make sure but make sure that if you decide to learn it, okay, then put in a proper effort. Okay, haphazard effort will never give you results, especially in general knowledge. You will have to make sure that you put in a very conscious and a very focused effort. Okay, and the second important thing that you need to consider is the availability of time before you prepare for your general knowledge exam. Okay, you have to consider the availability of time. Okay, the only way to achieve maximum success with general knowledge is if you take active interest rather than temporary interest for the sake of examination. Okay, I'll tell you something. So if you decide to become good at general knowledge, okay, now this is a personal choice. I will not force you. But if you decide to become good at general knowledge, then you will have to make a radical change in your lifestyle. Okay, just reading few books will not help, because general knowledge is one such subject which becomes irrelevant very soon. The knowledge today will not be relevant 1 year from now. The knowledge 1 year from now will not be relevant 5 years from now. You will have to continuously upgrade yourself. You will have to continuously develop yourself. You will have to continuously, keep in touch with everything that is there. That is the only way you can develop your knowledge base. Okay, or so that is why you have to make sure that you stay up to date. Okay, aptitude, logical reasoning, probably once you study you might remember, but general knowledge, especially current affairs, they keep on changing with time. Okay, so with time new topics will come, with time there will be new things to learn, with time new people will come, new events might occur. So all these things you have to know. All right, only then you will be able to ace the general knowledge section. All right, guys. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for giving. I'm so sorry for the issue that happened previously. I hope you could enjoy whatever part you could hear. Okay. I hope I was not too boring. So we'll do one thing. We will continue from where we left today tomorrow. Okay. So whatever topics I have left today, I will be continuing the same tomorrow. All right. So till then, have a nice day, guys, and all the best.